The wisdom of this world, my friends, is foolish and finite. You see, many times in my life, I've thought so many things in my mind, and I've been involved in things, in jobs, careers, money making, wrongdoings, all kinds of different things. And then there came points in my life where these things began to become death to me. They began to have no meaning, you see. The career wasn't giving me what I really wanted. All my false relationships, they were not taking me anywhere. All the money that I was making, it never had any meaning. And so I ended up, finding places. I went to look for places away from everything, because it all became a noise, a voracious noise that was killing me, like the sounds of millions of descending locusts. This is what noise I was hearing. And so I found myself in places like the ocean shores, away from everything. And I was being ministered to by something that had lived a lot longer than me, by the waters, by the sounds, by the waves that caressed the ocean shores as they came in, and then as they receded back and washed away. It's like they took a piece of the agony that had become me with them. And as I saw the sun setting, it gave me a peace, as if to tell me that, you really don't know anything, little man. You don't know anything. And it's like all these thoughts that were raging within me, they became quieted. And I received somewhat of a solace and somewhat of a tranquility. And the winds blew. And my eyes were shut, my ears were closed to the rest of the world. In these moments where I became confounded by something that was even greater than what man considers progress and civilization. And you see, these things are so symbolic, all that head knowledge just crashed and burned and disintegrated and fell apart before my eyes. Things that you thought that were always going to be there, and you always think like that, and you always want to do these things, and the jobs and the people that were so consumed by those kind of things, and it just became to be meaningless. It came to a point where you started to hate them, and so you ran away, you see, into these places where you realize you're really not the author, and that there was something greater that could write in you words that communicated a deepness and a depth far greater than anything that what man was following, you see. Something that transcended the ways of man and his finite thinking and his technology and all these sounds and unnatural living. But all these things were just symbolic of who I am, because now I know that in order to be cleansed by the waves and purified by the sun and given peace, I go to the one who gives me the rivers of living water and the bread of life. I go to the Son of God, that he may rise within me. You see, for he is the light and not the artificial light. He is the eternal light. You see, we must go to Him. We must receive of His Spirit the peace that passes all understanding, and drink of the rivers of living waters. And this world becomes foolishness. It becomes a place where people seek after the vain and the mundane and the trivial things that they consider important. You begin to dwell in a world where you understand who your true family is, what your true identity is, where there is no pain, there is no suffering, where there is neither marriage nor giving in marriage, where we dwell as the children of God, where we are one. You see, where there is no more selfishness, death and destruction. We realize that this is where we were supposed to be from the beginning. You see, so when I go to the ocean waves and the ocean shores and see the sunsets, it reminds me of who I believe in and who I worship, and I reflect on Him. I don't worship the sun or the waters, but I worship the Son of God and the rivers of living waters that He gives me, because I worship Him, and He leads me by His Spirit that has life. When I am in His presence, He fills me with life, and my words that I speak become filled with His Spirit, the Spirit that is deep, that is before beginning and end, that is eternal, rather than all these finite things that man calls progress and sticks on these labels. Let us go and be ministered to by the Spirit of God. Let us close our eyes and close our ears and hear the sights and sounds of the kingdom of God, and taste of this kingdom. For when we taste of this kingdom, the kingdoms of men become foolishness, and we become strangers and pilgrims here. We begin to live according to the dictates of a kingdom to come, whose builder and maker is not man, but whose builder and maker is God. We boldly say that we seek after a kingdom that is not made with man's hands, and we all constantly reflect on this kingdom and run away from the world that only offers vanity and the oppression of the ticks of time and the fear of death. See, my friends, let us go and receive a peace that passes all understanding. Let us go and receive of the mercy, the compassion, the correction, the judgment, the justice of the Son of God. You see, we are just books. Let us allow Jesus to write in our heart and mind. Let us present to Him clean and empty pages for Him to write who we are in our souls. See, and be filled by the desires, intentions and motives that He has. He is the living Word. Let us eat of Him and drink of Him. He is a God of great mercy and compassion. I remind you, my friends, that when Jesus went to heal Lazarus, He knew that Lazarus, what was going to happen. But when He saw the people their pain and suffering. He couldn't take it, even though he knew that what was going to happen with Lazarus. It said he wept, he cried, because he feels our infirmities and feels our pains, because he is life. My friends, let us go to him. Let us turn to him. Let us get life.